As much as we love Halo for everything that it contributed to the first-person shooter genre, Halo's DLC was never the most remarkable or ambitious thing in the world. Outside of map packs, Halo as a series never really experimented with post-launch DLC. Actually, that's not true, because post-Halo 3's launch, Bungie did release paid map packs that had Forge canvases with a couple more tools to make the Forge mode a little bit less restrictive. The rest was just paid map packs. Other AAA games began including downloadable weapons, skins, entire thematic shifts, and so on, while Halo continued to seem satisfied with just having map packs as post-launch DLC. Halo primarily stuck with paid map packs until Halo 4, where you could also buy armors or gold skins for your assault rifles and weapons for a few bucks, but overall, it was stuff the video game industry had already done at that point for years, and Halo 4's low player population made owners of the map packs themselves feel like they were at a disadvantage because now they had less of a player pool to play with due to the lower players. In order to get rid of the splitting of the player base that comes with paid DLC, Halo 5 gives out its maps for free and earns money from its random number generator. Each update since launch has added new weapons and variants of existing weapons into the game, and, well, the idea is good on paper, the execution wasn't great. Random number generators are very slimy and manipulative ways of tricking you into playing a game longer than you normally would, because while a simple weapon unlock system is great, if the game's population is weak, you're gonna stop playing once you earn what you want. A random number generator, though, now that's gonna make it so that you play forever, constantly earning things, but not the thing you want, tricking you into playing the game and gambling and just trying so hard until you finally earn the thing you want, possibly years later at the latest. And some people who have jobs, they don't have time to grind for the rec points that they can use to appease the overinflated prices of gold packs, and that's when the wallets come out. That's when you sadly buy 50 gold packs because, hey, what you want has got to be in one of them, right? It uses the same tactics slot machines at casinos use, and it's primarily why you see psychologists warning people against using them because it's manipulative and unhealthy for your brain. The rec system has left a very bad taste in people's mouths, and for good reason. But while everyone likes to tear apart the rec system, Halo 5's worst aspect has seemingly given life to Halo's next big evolution. Halo 5's weapon variants are insane, and I mean insane. Carbines that fire needler rounds, plasma pistols that launch black holes, assault rifles with the scope of a DMR, and that fire hard light Forerunner ammunition. It's ridiculous when you sit back and look at it, and they are damn fun to use. And that's why they were exclusive to the random number generator system. 343 was probably worried about having another Halo 4 player drop-off problem, and probably one of the ways that they wanted to prevent this was to use a random number generator system that other games are using now. In order to make the random number generator system enticing, amazing guns were put into it, and like I said, they are so damn fun to use. But the problem is, this random number generator went against everything people loved about the Halo series. During the last console generation, what you usually bought with a shooter, that's it. Like, that's what you get. But with Halo, I could literally change the genre of the game. I could make it a racing game, a fighting game, a horror game, a sports game with the tools that it gives the players right out of the gate. Oh, what's that? A new Madden game is coming out? No thanks, I'll make my own Madden game in Halo, thank you very much. Halo isn't a game that puts its cookie jar where the kids can't reach. And sadly, that's what Halo 5 did. 343 surprisingly went to great lengths to rectify this mistake. About half a year later, rec weapons began creeping up in Halo 5's Forge mode. And no, it wasn't a bug. 343 took the cookie jar off the counter and gave it to us. Now obviously every weapon wasn't there because that casino needs to keep tricking suckers, but the fact a AAA video game just decided to suddenly reverse everything it tried doing and trust the players with weapon variants, it was quite different. It was weird. And shortly after that, custom game modes began getting designed around these wreck weapons. Insane possibilities. And guess what those game modes proved? Halo is a lot more fun when it doesn't hide the cookie jar. Every update since has only lifted the lock on these wacky weapons. Plus, a glitch was discovered that let people assign other weapons' traits to any weapon they want. And guess what? That's an amazing thing, and 343 made sure to let us know that it will not be patched because it's amazing. Very quickly, what began its life as a contrived, sleazy, manipulative concept flipped on its face and became one of the best things to ever happen to Halo's community. These weapon variants were given to the community, and that was only the beginning. Many people say that 343 doesn't listen, and to be fair, in some cases that's definitely true, but lately they've made it very obvious that they're listening a lot more clearly now. Many classic weapons began returning in the form of weapon variants. Some we knew about long before the game's release, like the CE Magnum, Spanker, but others were surprises such as the Halo 2 Battle Rifle, Original Trilogy Beam Rifle, Brute Plasma Rifle, and so on. All spawnable in Forge, by the way, and many being placed on Halo 5's multiplayer maps. But the fun doesn't end there, because while classic fan favorites were returning, we the fans were even heavily influencing future weapons. The Wasp was quite literally only put into the game because we wanted it. The Sentinel Beam made its fantastic return to the series after nearly a decade of being absent. Before Halo 5, anything that we saw that was insane post-launch, it was made by us, and it was within Forge or it was a custom game. And as incredible as those Forges were, there were limitations that we would eventually reach. But now, if enough of us can say, can we just have this? Sure enough, a few months later, 343 is like, here you go. Now sadly, there are certain things that just can't be implemented due to restrictions that sadly the developers placed on themselves, and I hope that in Halo 6 they really reevaluate the way that they design certain things and organize certain modes so that it can be more accepting of other ideas. The reason we still don't have playable elites is probably due to the fact that 343 chose to make the elites look like big, dumb, loud monsters instead of, well, elites. And now it'll be practically impossible to balance them properly with Spartans unless they go back to the much slimmer design of the previous elites in the original Halo trilogy. The reason we didn't get the Falcon is because the Falcon is the warthog of the sky, and in order for you to get gunners in the additional seats, it would need to spawn in the air like an air vehicle does in Warzone. You would need to avoid enemy gunfire and land somewhere, and then you would have to try to coax people into the gunner seats, which also will leave you exposed. Then you would need to fly up to a position of safety while still avoiding gunfire, and finally by the time you do get to an elevated position, you've probably taken a serious amount of damage. So obviously, certain fan requests can't be done just sadly due to the design of certain elements of Halo 5, which brings me to my next point. We have a system here in Halo 5 where we can literally influence the state of currently released Halo games. Remember how Halo fans wanted the beam rifle in Halo Reach? Or how fans wanted the Reach grenade launcher in Halo 4? Requesting weapons and seeing them just pop into the game a few months later is a reality now. The Jackal Shield that we've wanted to use forever, I'm sure that if the community collectively demands one, we will see one in the future. If not Halo 5, then Halo 6. Quite literally, the only thing holding these weapon variants back in terms of the creative potential and expansion of player freedom is the incredibly restrictive rec system and the crude design of some of Warzone's elements, which limits what they can realistically bring back and make viable within the online landscape. If Halo 6 focuses less on trying to manipulate kids into spending money and more on giving tools to the players in such a creative way like these weapon variants, Halo's community's future is very bright. Very little games offer the freedom that Halo offers. Forge is quickly on its way to becoming a console version of Gmod. The custom games blow anything the competition has out of the water. And now we have a very quick, very easy to use custom games server browser that is jump in, jump out. What other AAA games on console can honestly brag about that? Very little. Halo 5 is doing an incredible thing, and we will be seeing it in the future in a more organized form. Well, it's inexcusable that Halo 5 essentially acted as a beta test for the future of the series, and only now, over a year later, has the game become this open. I can't help but be excited for Halo 6. Imagine 343 could host tournaments where fans submit variant ideas and their own concept art, and the winner gets their weapon put into the game, and they're shipped a small 3D model print of their variant. Weapons talked about in the Halo novels and comics? We could see those in the game if we ask. Those things that we only read about, we could actually wield them in-game. Fan favorite weapons returning? Yep. If Halo 6 learns from the mistakes of Halo 5's early decision to restrict players in a series known for no restrictions, then I can see Halo 6 being one of the most impressive and consumer-friendly games in recent AAA memory. Thanks to the latest update, now I can truly see everything that Halo 5 has brought to the table. It was almost like a revelation, staying up and playing custom games on the PC and trying out all these incredible modes. Just hop in, hop out, because now the privacy settings are open, and just seeing how creative the custom games community is in Halo 5 now that it's been let loose. This latest update resolved one of my biggest issues with Halo 5. This latest update finally gave me the cookie jar.